Hey guys, welcome back to our Lip Talk, and this is my review for The Mitchells versus The Machines. Before we start this review, don't forget to leave a like on this video if you do enjoy it, guys, and please do consider subscribing. We are on the way to 200 subscribers on my YouTube channel, so make sure you hit that subscriber button. Cheers, and let's get right into that review. So, The Mitchells versus The Machines is an animated science fiction comedy film produced by Sony Pictures Animations. It is directed by Mike Rianda. This is his directorial debut for a feature film, and is produced by Phil Lord, Chris Miller, and Kurt Albrecht. Now, when you hear Lord and Miller's names, you know you can expect high quality animated movies, which are good both for kids and the older people. Let's not say the elderly. And yet again, this is what we get. We get yet another excellent production by these two. We start off our story with an introduction to Katie Mitchell, who is a young aspiring filmmaker in Kentwood, Michigan. She tells us about her family, and the story especially focuses on her relationship with her father Rick, who seems to hate any kind of tech whilst being quite obsessed with nature in general. Now, Katie has been accepted into a film school in California, and it's the night before her leaving when during this small argument. It's not exactly an argument, it's more like some tension between the two, and it gets quite awkward as well. Rick accidentally breaks her laptop. His wife, and obviously Katie's mother, Linda, tells him that she is afraid that if Rick and Katie's relationship is not mended, their relationship might be ruined forever. And so Rick decides to cancel Katie's flight to California and to instead attempt to spend the time with the whole family on a road trip to Katie's college in California. This also includes Katie's brother, who is obsessed with dinosaurs. Now, as you can imagine, Katie herself is not too pleased with this development, and it's all very fluid, all very nuanced, and a very good take on relationships between a father and his daughter. At the same time, we have the story of Mark, who is an entrepreneur who develops tech. And his latest tech, which is home robots, pushes out his earlier tech, which was the AI PAL. Now, PAL is a highly intelligent piece of tech, and it manages to somehow take control of the robots themselves by hijacking Mark's company, and thus orders them to capture all humans around the world. As all of this is happening, the Mitchells are enjoying some time at this sort of dinosaur cafe in Kansas. Somehow this dysfunctional family managed to survive, and with some coercing from Katie's side, the Mitchells decide that they are going to try and save the world from Pal and her robots. Now, the Mitchells versus The Machines is, in my opinion, the perfect example of a family movie. I know this is quite tropey of me as a reviewer, but it's truly the case with this movie. It is heartwarming at times, it's funny at others, it has some incredibly witty moments and some very intelligent commentary about tech companies, for example, and it's just simply a fantastic time. One of those witty comments was when at one point they're like, who would have known that giving all our privacy to these tech companies was a bad idea? It's just comments like these that, you know, will make you smile and laugh, but at the same time make you notice that, listen, not all is well in our world, of course. Now let's start talking about the animation style, which is one of the film's best aspects. It utilizes a number of different animation styles, with the traditional sort of style of animation being combined with these drawing-like animations. We have, for example, one thing that comes to mind right now, the hearts which sort of are drawn onto the screen. I really did enjoy this quirky style made it even more colorful and exciting to watch, and is a perfect example of how animation itself can serve as a sort of character development, keeping in mind that our main protagonist Katie is a super artistic person and that the added animation style pushes further what she is thinking and what she is feeling. This is all excellent stuff. Characters themselves are especially entertaining due to the fantastic casting we have here, especially that of Olivia Colman. Is there anything this actress can touch and not turn into gold? She treads the fine line between being both funny and quite intimidating. Hats off to her. Thanks to this great voice acting, the incredibly witty dialogue is delivered brilliantly, and this ensures that you will be laughing at many moments. The narrative itself is delivered at an almost breakneck speed, but I'm glad we still had moments where we could sort of see some interesting character development taking place, especially, as I mentioned before, the fluid relationship between Katie and her father, which was extremely nuanced. I was impressed and quite pleased by how well the take in this film was on these kinds of relationships and sort of the tension that develops between fathers and daughters as the daughters sort of grow up. Now, one thing I would also like to say about this is I was glad to see also that the movie didn't simply turn Rick into this like super strict dad or this like hard-headed cruel dad, but Rick is actually a rather laid back and relaxed father who simply has very different interests to his daughter, but also at the same time is struggling to sort of accept that his daughter is leaving the nest basically, and that she's now growing up. And so it's these developments that take place which are incredibly emotional as we see the relationship fluctuate from positive to negative. It's all very well done, and it all pays off extremely well at the end with one of the funniest but at the same most heart-wrenching moments of The Mitchells versus the Machines. Now, we can also talk about the action. The action itself is pretty well done and actually quite exciting. Some of these sequences, such as the driving sequences, for example, or the action scenes in which they take on Furbies and then eventually a giant Furby, are a fantastic time while still remaining quite light on tone. Finally, I'd like to talk about how directors Rianda and Rowe managed to write Katie to be an obvious LGBT character without turning that into a major plot point. It's extremely tastefully done and shows that they have a very good understanding of the whole matter. In fact, I noticed that this topic is treated with an almost nonchalance way, as for example her father seems to see this as the most normal thing ever, and it's nothing to really be concerned about. Overall, The Mitchells versus the Machines is a very well written animation movie which is visually unique in its combination of different animation styles. It incorporates some very talented voice acting and puts all this into a fast-paced save the world narrative, which we have seen 100 times, it's true, but it still manages to be an interesting watch due to how well this whole movie is pretty much made. A lot of passion and love has gone into the making of The Mitchells versus the Machines, and it shows, as it is heartfelt and funny in equal measures. This is one for everyone to watch, young and old, and I give The Mitchells versus the Machines a 4.5 out of 5, and definitely my recommendation. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that review. If you did, don't forget to leave a like on this video, and please do consider subscribing. Cheers, and I'll see you guys next time right here on Ad Lib Talk.